Welcome everyone to NoDQ.com's live predictions video for WWE Money in the Bank 2025. I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts about Money in the Bank. It's one of the most anticipated WWE events of the year. It's in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome, and they will also be doing Worlds Collide. Now, when we talk about the men's Money in the Bank match, we do have a couple of people pulling double duty. We have Stephanie Vaquer, who is wrestling on both cards, and then you got Chad Gable on one show and El Grande Americano on the other show. Not saying they're the same person, but there's the fan theories out there. So if you guys want to talk about Worlds Collide, we can discuss that during the Money in the Bank ladder matches. If you think maybe something on Worlds Collide could impact what happens on Money in the Bank, feel free to share that with everybody. But let's go around and get everyone's overall thoughts on the show. And by the way, chat room, we're early. This is an earlier than usual stream. It's 5 p.m. Eastern time. We usually do not go on this early, but thank you to everybody watching live. If you're watching live, leave your comments, your thoughts. I will put up some of the comments on the screen. But first, I want to throw it over to Dwayne Atkinson. Thank you for being on with us. How are you feeling about this year's Money in the Bank on a scale of 1 to 10?
Very hyped for this one. I love Money in the Bank. It's probably one of my favorite matches of all time. I've seen probably every last one of them more than once. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing. I'm kind of looking forward to World's End as well, or Worlds Collide. So it's going to be a great day, great show. We got a lot to talk about. I'm looking forward to it, man.
All right. Matthew, I will throw it over to you next. And by the way, I love that you're rocking the No DQ shirt. You finally got it. Thank you for repping. How you feeling about this card?
I'm finally glad to get it. It took almost a month to get here, but, that's, again, wasn't your fault. But overall, I'm excited. I mean, I'm more excited, I think, for the women's match than the men's. This is probably the most stacked women's Money in the Bank match probably I think they've ever had. And Worlds Collide is going to be interesting because I admit I don't know most of the talent, but I'm willing to, find out who these people are because we might see more of them. And I think Stephanie's in for a hell of a weekend, and Chad Gable and El Grande as well. But overall, yeah, I'd say probably about an 8 out of 10 for me for Money in the Bank.
I tend to agree with you on that. I think 8 out of 10. There's only 4 matches, but I don't think they need more than 4. Let's face it. People are watching this for the Money in the Bank ladder matches. You can do one, then the other 2 matches, and then the other Money in the Bank, and you're set. Each Money in the Bank match will probably go 20 to 30 minutes, and I feel like the main event will probably get a lot of time. And then of course, you get all your ads and whatnot. So it doesn't really need to be a long show. It's the Money in the Bank matches that people are watching. Uthman, what do you think? Do they need more matches, or are you satisfied with just the 4 matches? What do you think?
I'm a little shocked that it's only 4, but we know this is how Triple H does things. So maybe it'll be a quick night for everybody. The pay-per-view, I believe, it starts at 7 Eastern. So maybe a 10:30 ending. Or way before 11, I can say that. But I'm excited for Money in the Bank. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views. Looking forward to unfortunately, only the 2 ladder matches, because, they're going to be stunts done, flippity-doos, and all that jazz. But I'm like 7.5 out of 10 excited for the show. Again, it's one of my favorites at the calendar. And so I hope the crowd in Cali will be alive for it. And looking forward to talking with you fine gentlemen here tonight.
Absolutely.
Or today, I should say, really.
Today, tonight, well, depending on where you are. I guess after 5
yeah, depends where you are.
You could say it's evening, technically.
Evening, yeah. Yeah, the sun's still out here in Jersey, so.
Well, the sun, in some places, the sun's still out at like 9 o'clock in the evening.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There you go. I'm seeing a few 8 out of 10s for this one. Gino, we'll throw it over to you now. Do you agree with the 8 out of 10? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Money in the Bank, I think Dwayne said it's a really one of those hyped up looking events, right? It's the one match, it's one of the matches that can have a pay-per-view named after it or a premium live event named after it. And we're getting 2 of those. So it's going to, that in and of itself will make it exciting. Plus we've got more of John Cena and that whole tag team thing. So I would say it's going to be an 8 out of 10. I mean, even without the Intercontinental Championship match, I do think that we might get another match added tomorrow night, but I would be fine with this. I don't see them going past 10 o'clock probably because they don't like to conflict with their UFC events now that
Right.
TKO runs it, which is why they started earlier. So we should be in for a relatively enjoyable but not overbearing watch.
Thank you, Michael. Michael sent in the super chat pointing that out, that the UFC pay-per-view starts. There's no way it goes 3 hours. I think it'll be like at most 2 hours, 45 minutes, maybe even 2.5 hours. And like you said, Gino, they might add one more match. They might throw something out there for everybody, but that's fine. 4 matches, I'm down with it. 8 out of 10. Let's go ahead and talk about it. We'll get to the non-ladder matches first, and then we'll talk about the ladder matches. First up, this match is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We got Lyra Valkyria defending against Becky Lynch one more time. And if Becky wins, Lyra has to raise Becky's hand. And if Lyra wins, Becky will no longer challenge for the title. What do you guys think about this one? Becky's coming off a loss. So do you think this time she actually wins the title? I'm not going to say what the betting odds are because I know at least one person here is not even looking at the betting odds and is going on just pure opinion and not being influenced by others. So, Dwayne, I'm going to throw it to you first, since you said you're not looking at the betting odds for this and you want to go into it and just give your opinion and not be influenced. So go ahead and tell us, do you think Becky Lynch gets the title here? What are your thoughts?
I'm conflicted a little bit at first because the stipulation of this match, if she doesn't win it, she don't get another title shot as long as Lyra Valkyria is still champion. Now, I misread the conception at first. I thought she could never challenge for it ever again, but then they said it was as long as she was champion. I mean, I haven't seen the betting odds, but I'm pretty sure they're all in Becky's favor. It might be a close betting odd, but what gets me right there is we got the Bayley factor. Bayley has that yet to show up because Becky's come out and admitted that she's the one that took Bayley out so she could take her place at Mania. Safe betting wise, though, I'm going to go and say Becky's winning the title. Lyra's had it good enough. She's been a great champion. She's had great matches for the title. So I felt like the last one they had stole the show. It was match of the night, and I kind of felt this one might do it again. So,
all right. New champion predicted by Dwayne. I'll go ahead and throw it over now to Gino. Gino, do you agree with Dwayne that we are going to see a new Women's Intercontinental Champion?
So I wish I had taken your advice and not looked at the betting odds, but I usually do look at them, and I'm tied for first in the predictions league. So it's not like I go 100% based on that, but I couldn't in good faith come into this video without having checked the betting odds. Yesterday, I was for sure it was going to be Lyra Valkyria retaining. Today, I believe it's going to be Becky winning the title. I don't see how that necessarily helps Lyra because it's probably going to lead to something like you said with Becky or with Bayley and Becky. So I'm hoping they find a good way to book that, but I do believe that Becky will walk out with the championship. I wasn't feeling this way 24 hours ago though. So
all right, that's 2 for Becky to become the new champion. So Matthew, I will throw it over to you now. Do you agree with Gino and Dwayne?
I mean, it's hard to disagree with my Florida brothers. I mean, usually we're on the same wavelength for a lot of predictions. Yeah, Becky's winning. Lyra started to get a personality, and I'm hoping that this feud, helps her more. But I think, and I can't really take credit for this, but I heard somebody else kind of give this idea, and I think it's probably going to go this way. Lyra's going to raise up Becky's arm, and then Becky's going to put her in the disarmer, and that's probably going to cause Bayley to show up and put Lyra on the shelf for a little bit, and that's probably going to lead to Bayley and Becky at SummerSlam. But yeah, I think Becky's going to win. It's going to put something new to the title that it needs. I don't really think Becky needs the title. None of the four horsemen really need this title, but it's going to elevate it to a level that I don't think, compared to how Chelsea has been with the U.S. title, the Intercontinental title just hasn't been on that level. So this is going to help elevate it and make it feel just about as special as Chelsea has made the women's U.S. title. But yeah, Becky's going to be, I guess, the new Grand Slam champion with this as well. But even though she already is, but yeah, Becky's going to win. And the internet's probably going to hate it because Becky Hogan. But yeah, it's going to be Becky's night.
All right, Oof, what do you think about this one? I mean, it seems unanimous for Becky up to this point.
Yeah, I think it's an East Coast thing where, yeah, I'm agreeing. Becky's going to be the new champion, and Bayley will make her presence known after the match. Question is, they're going to feud, Becky and Bayley. What happens to Lyra? That's a very good question. Maybe she just supports Bayley. We just got to finish that thing with Bayley. We haven't seen her since Mania, since she got taken out by Becky. And the question is, when will Becky and Bayley face off? Will it be Evolution? Will it be SummerSlam? I say save it for SummerSlam. It's here in Jersey, 2 nights. You want to sell, I don't know how tickets are being sold right now, how good they're doing, but that's probably a key matchup you want to have for the first 2-night SummerSlam this year. So yeah, I'm with the rest of the East Coast men. Becky will win the title, and Bayley will make her presence after the match. I don't know how she'll just pop out at the end. Will Becky attack Lyra perhaps, or maybe Becky just is celebrating with the title, and then we hear Bayley's music and she dashes out. But yes, new champion will be Becky Lynch.
Well, this is interesting to me because I figured if Bayley was showing up, she was going to cost Becky the match, not show up afterwards. I would think she would piss off Becky more by costing her the title match and keep it on Lyra. Dwayne? You were
Another interesting scenario you could be was Becky, excuse me, Bayley comes up to try to help Lyra, but wind up accidentally costing her the title in the match, which could probably cause friction between them. You could probably get a possible triple threat with Lyra getting her rematch also.
So I think what we'll do here, because I mean, I'm wondering, is Bayley even going to show up on this show? Because I was feeling like Becky was going to win, but I feel like if Bayley's showing up, she should be costing Becky. So I'm wondering if maybe they save Bayley for another show. But then again, we do have Evolution coming up in a few weeks. Well, not a few weeks, I guess about a month from now. Right? Isn't it? It's July 12th, right? I think it's July 12th. If that's the case, I feel like Bayley should be coming back, but she could appear on Monday Night Raw. Like, she doesn't have to appear on this pay-per-view. It's close for me. It's very close. I'm behind in the prediction, so I'm wondering if I should take a chance and go with Lyra. Screw it. I'm going to say Lyra retains. Bayley shows up and costs her the match. Costs Becky the match. So I'm going to be the odd man out here. I'm already behind in predictions. I guess it's worth a shot. I feel like it could go either way, so I'm going to take the chance on that one. So I guess the last thing here is to Noah Foster. We'll go ahead and make this a bonus point. Does Bayley show up at Money in the Bank? I'm going yes. Give a thumbs up if you're going yes to Bayley appearing. We're going to do the Bobby Lashley. Everybody.
I just wasn't sure if she's going to show up or not, but it's the only way to make it make sense in my mind that Becky wins. So we're gonna go with.
Excuse me, it's July 13th, a Sunday. It's not July 12th. Thank you for that, Michael. All right, so there you go. We all think Bayley's going to show up, but what she actually does remains to be seen. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the next match, which is the tag team match, the all-star tag team match. We got the world champion, Jey Uso, the WWE champion, John Cena. They're on opposite ends. Logan Paul will be teaming up with Cena, and then the former WWE champion Cody Rhodes will be teaming up with main event Jey Uso. All right, so let's get everybody's opinions on this one. Nothing on the line as far as titles go, but I mean, potentially the winner of this, if Cody beats John Cena, for instance, like that could set up a match. But maybe John Cena wins. I mean, who knows? Let's get everybody's thoughts on this one. Matthew, I'll throw it over to you first. What do you see happening in this tag team extravaganza?
Well, they teased a little bit of dissension already between Cena and Logan Paul. I could see Logan Paul Cena getting frustrated and walking out near the end of the match and leaving Logan Paul to get pinned. My other thing is I think Jey is probably going to take the brunt of the beating in the match so that we put doubt into whether or not he's going to be strong enough to face Gunther, because that's kind of the other big factor is Gunther going to win on Monday? Are we going to see a cash in? But I think that would be the smart way to do it, is make it to where can Jey survive? Can Jey beat Gunther after going through a brutal match between Logan Paul and Cody? But I just don't see, Logan Paul and Cena. I just don't see Cody taking the pin. I'm not sure if they're going to have Jey take the pin, and I don't see Cena taking the pin. So the only logical choice would have to be Logan Paul, because he's the only one that really could afford to take the pin and nothing help. But I'm kind of curious if we could see Cena not turn on him, but get fed up with him and just walk out. But yeah, I think the baby faces are going to end up winning.
I think that's a great point, that John Cena could just walk out on the match. Now, I could see Cody potentially beating John Cena to set him up for another title match, even though he should just get his rematch. But they don't really do the instant rematches for the most part, even though Gunther is getting his rematch. I agree. The baby faces will win this match. Jey, though, like you said, will probably take a huge beating in this one to further create doubt that he can defeat Gunther on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I say good guys win this one. Gino, I'll go over to you next on this. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Aaron. So for me, I see something very similar to Matthew, only I see the heels going over, actually. I think Cena and Logan are going to win this match. They really want Cena to get booed, right? Jey already had one match on Raw. He's got another match that he's looking forward to on next Monday. It could be a trap game, as they call it in sports, or a trap match for him. And I see Cena shouldn't be taking the fall. I don't think Logan should be taking the fall either. I feel like neither should Jey, so I think Cody's going to be taking the fall in this one. It's a little unconventional. The odds are basically split, so there's really no true favorite in the match. But to me, I think the heels are going to go over, and I don't think Cena's going to walk out on the match. I mean, if he does, that's a way to get him booed, but that kind of goes against his never give up, which he still has on the sides of his shirt. So that's what I think.
Now, Michael Wayne brought up, what if Seth Rollins won Money in the Bank and then cashed in on Jey on Monday? What if Seth Rollins wins Money in the Bank in the opening match and then cashes in the same night and wins the title from Jey? Then you throw a whole monkey wrench in the whole Gunther storyline in that match. Do you do a triple threat? Like that could change everything. So that's something to think about too, if the men's Money in the Bank is first. And I feel like there's a chance the women might go on last this time because they have such a star-studded lineup for this year. Something to think about. Yeah, Gino?
Yeah, just onto that point, I wanted to make a mention of that. See, I was predicting that this tag team match was going to go on last, and what happened in the Money in the Bank match was kind of influencing my thinking. I'm still wanting to stick with that, because we don't necessarily know the order. If Seth does win that I think he's going to make his presence known whether he cashes in or not. And I think that makes it for more entertainment. Like you have somebody holding the Money in the Bank on the same card as the title holders are having a match. I know they kind of did that last year with Drew, but I don't know. I like that aspect of it. So we'll see how the matches go.
All right, and yeah, I mean that could be interesting to see how that plays out. Either way, I would put the men's match on first, just because of the fact that you would have that thought process during the tag match. What if there's a cash in? But Dwayne, I'll go ahead and throw it over to you. What are your thoughts?
Pretty much everything that I was thinking of has already been said. I don't think I could add really more to it, except for the fact that I'm changing my original prediction on this one because I've forgotten when I made it that Gunther and Jey Uso was having a match Monday night as well. I kind of feel like now that Jey Uso will probably be the one to take the pinfall for the match, just so they can make it look like, hey, he ain't ready for Gunther again, and he possibly can't beat him twice in a row. But then also another factor is what Gino and Aaron was saying. You know, you got two world champions in one match. You know they're going to at least tease a cash in, because especially with the champions looking weak, they're going to do something on that line to where I figure. But another issue I think is going to happen is nobody said anything about Travis Scott. I read somewhere that he's going to have a significant role in this match as well. I don't know.
That was on purpose. Nobody said anything about Travis Scott.
Either way, I'm changing my predictions for the heels win.
Oh, wow. All right. Fair enough. Oof, we'll go over to you next. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going with the baby faces winning. Gino mentioned about Cena getting heat. I think that's why they teamed him up with Logan Paul. He's been 50-50, some cheers, some boos, but you team him up with Logan Paul, he's going to get booed out of the building. Cody, the last time we saw him before Mania, it was a little 50-50 as well. So now they put him next to main event Jay. He's going to get cheered. But depending on, we'll get into it when we talk about it, the Money in the Bank match, if Seth Rollins does win, I think that'll be the only tease that we'll see for a cash in. I don't think he will cash it in. He'll probably come out on the stage and, holding the briefcase and, and then cue the copyright code and you end the show there. So that's why you have the faces winning. You'll see Jay and Cody celebrating. Jay will go in the corner buckle, raise the belt in the air, and then burn it down hits. And then there's Seth teasing it, but I don't think it'll be a cash in. But again, only if Seth wins, which we'll get into in a couple of seconds. I'm going with the baby faces winning this one. I like the idea of Cena walking out on Logan. That would be hilarious. But would that then tease a match between the two of them? I don't know. But I think Logan does take the pin, and I think Jay pins Logan. Probably Cena and Cody will fight, in the aisle or outside, and then Logan's distracted, and then Jay gets the pin on Logan Paul. But I'm going with the baby faces here winning.
All right. Sounds good. Matthew, we'll throw it over to you now, and then we'll get to the ladder matches. So go ahead.
You already did me. I was right.
Oh, are we missing anybody?
No.
Oh, we're good. Okay, we got through that.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going through it quickly. We got it.
All right then. So we'll move on. We'll get to the ladder matches. We got 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. I suppose we'll start with the men's match first, since we were just talking about Seth Rollins, and plus I feel like there's a chance the women might actually main event. So let's talk about the men's match. We got LA Knight.
Yeah.
Penta, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, Seth freaking Rollins, we just brought him up, and El Grande Americano, who is totally not Chad Gable. I don't know where people are getting that from. They're 2 different people, but that is the lineup for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. A lot of people seem to think Seth Rollins is winning this one. What we're going to do is we're going to have 2 picks. You get your primary pick for the Predictions League. That's 2 points. And then your second pick is 1 point. I was thinking about this. I could see Solo Sikoa winning, but I think a lot of people would be pissed off about that. Andrade's not winning. I don't think El Grande Americano is winning. I really don't. And Penta's not winning. I feel he'll have a good showing, but he's not winning. So it really comes down to Solo, Seth Rollins, and LA Knight. I have a feeling that even though Rollins seems to be the favorite, I am going to go with LA Knight as my primary with a potential heel turn. Like, people will be happy he wins, but LA Knight, he's kind of cooled off a little bit. But if he goes heel again, like, that could freshen up his character, similar to what AJ Styles would do. AJ came in hot babyface, but then would turn heel and would go back and forth a little bit. We know LA Knight can kill it as a heel. I say LA Knight finally wins this year. The crowds want it, and then maybe he actually goes heel at some point when he cashes in. I will play it safe with my secondary pick and say Seth Rollins wins, but I have a feeling he's not winning. Like, I could see Roman Reigns potentially returning and costing him. And what about CM Punk? After they totally punked out CM Punk on Raw, why would Punk not come out there and screw over Seth Rollins? Since it's no DQ anyways, you can get away with it. Either Punk or Roman, I think, will cost Seth Rollins. So that's why I can't really go with Rollins as my primary pick. If it's Solo, which I wouldn't rule out Solo, but I really do think there would be a negative reaction to that one. So yeah, LA Knight first, Seth Rollins second. All right, Oof, I'm going to go right back to you on this one and get your thoughts on the men's ladder match. And keep in mind that El Grande Americano, the guy that people think is him, Chad Gable has a match on Worlds Collide. Could something play into Money in the Bank? I mean, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Aaron. My second backup pick is, because it's just too obvious, will be Seth Rollins as my backup. And my number one pick is LA Knight as well. However, I kind of agree with you that LA needs to refresh his character. I don't think he's going to go heel, but to refresh his character, he's going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. And he'll tease maybe on SmackDown, when Cena's around, you'll see him in the back holding his briefcase. I don't think he'll ever come out to the ring when Cena's in the ring. But my prediction for LA Knight's cash-in will be he will cash in on Seth Rollins when he wins the world title sometime in the near future, and you move LA Knight to Raw. So that'll be his character refreshing right there. So I don't think LA Knight's going to go heel, but he needs something new. He's been on SmackDown for a while. His character has got a little stale, but the crowd, like you said, are totally behind him. So I think when he wins on Saturday, the crowd's going to pop. He'll be carrying the case on SmackDown. But in the future, or sometime in the future, whether SummerSlam or another pay-per-view, I think Seth Rollins finally wins the world title. And then you move LA Knight to Raw because he'll cash in on Seth Rollins, whether that night he wins the title or just some random night. And now you have LA Knight, World Heavyweight Champion on Monday Night Raw. That's where his character gets, quote unquote, refreshened. And I agree with you as well. If it's not Punk, it's going to be Roman Reigns, but I think it'll be Punk. Roman, I think they're just saving him for something bigger, maybe for a Raw or a SmackDown or maybe another show, but maybe it'll be Punk coming out and will cost Seth. Like you said, it's no DQ, so I think Punk will cost Seth the match. So number 2, Seth Rollins. Number 1, LA Knight.
Yeah, because if Punk doesn't show up, it kind of makes him look like a bitch. He got screwed over on Raw, and then he doesn't show up for his revenge. And where's Roman Reigns too? Like, these guys have an opportunity. They made such a big deal that Rollins cannot win this, because it could screw up everything. So you would think one of them at least would show up and interfere in the match. So Gino, I'll go over to you next. What are your thoughts on this one?
Okay, I just want to say you guys have made great points so far. For sure, you're making this very difficult for me to lock in. But I'm just going to go with what I came in here thinking. LA Knight has rumored backstage heat with his creative disagreements and stuff like that. Heels usually win Money in the Bank, right? I'm kind of going with the patterns here. As much as I want LA Knight to win it, I think he's going to have his fingers on it, and then somebody's going to knock the ladder over, and that's going to be that big tease of the night, like what we're going to probably get in the women's match. I want LA Knight so bad to win it, but I'm going to go with my number 2. It's going to be the heel in the match that everybody is discounting right now, and that to me is Solo Sikoa. I know you were saying the crowd might not like that, but I think that would be the point, right? I think
Not so much the crowd, but the internet will hate it.
sure, and I also think that might also be the point as well. I think Triple H gets off on swerving the loudmouth internet wrestling community. And him with Jacob and the dynamic was I got the briefcase, so like it's kind of more valuable than the U.S. title. You know, you could bounce that. It's not, but like, you could bounce that off of each other, and you can play that to that. But my number 1 is going to be Seth Rollins. Just gonna go with where the tide's going on that. It just makes too much sense. We're talking about Punk or Roman potentially coming out to cost Seth, but Seth also has 2 henchmen who I imagine will probably be out there before Roman or Punk. I think that's what causes them to maybe get involved. But they're taking they're shielding Seth Rollins' eventual victory. That's what so I'm going to go Seth Rollins number 1 and Solo Sikoa number 2. But I would be happy to be wrong.
You think Punk's going to be a bitch and not show up?
I think he's going to show up, but I think he's going to clash with Bronson or Braun Breaker, and that's kind of going to be what's keeping him from getting to Seth.
So they'll have Seth will have his backup to make sure that Punk's unsuccessful. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's solid. That could happen. All right, Matthew, I'm going to throw it over to you next. And we haven't talked about El Grande Americano. I saw one fan theory where maybe at the last minute, Chad Gable and El Grande Americano swap places. And El Grande Americano does the Worlds Collide match, and Chad Gable does Money in the Bank. Like, do you think there's any possibility of that? Like, what's the deal with El Grande Americano being in this match?
I mean, I'd love for that to happen. I think either way, the internet would go utterly nuts if El Grande or Gable won Money in the Bank. Unfortunately, I don't see it happening. I would be shocked if Chad Gable actually beats Vikingo at Worlds Collide, being that Vikingo just won the belt off D-Bag Del Rio. But, you know, people want to see Gable with a title, and it's long overdue, but I don't think he's going to win Money in the Bank. But I wouldn't be shocked if somehow something crazy happened and, you know, he does beat Vikingo. That would be kind of interesting. Now, if the shows were reversed and Money in the Bank was first and Worlds Collide was second, I would totally see El Grande winning and then cashing in on someone like Vikingo, but I don't think that's going to happen. My heart wants LA Knight to win, and you guys have made some very good points, but Gino's also made some very good points too. I feel like Seth is going to win because I honestly feel like they're going to attempt to do the heist of the century again on Monday night. I feel like Seth is going to win, and this is how they can beat Gunther or have Gunther lose without actually beating Gunther on Monday is Seth cashes in, takes out Jay, new champion. Gunther now, you know, will go and do whatever, and maybe this will see the start of the babyface Gunther turn.
Yeah,
but
that's a solid point.
But yeah, I'm going with Gunther or Seth as number 1, and LA Knight is going to sadly be. I think he's going to be the bridesmaid. Now, would I love for him to win? I will be all for it. But yeah, I'm going to go with Seth 1, LA Knight 2, and if we had a third, it would be El Grande. But I think Penta and El Grande are probably going to end up costing each other. Andrade, I think, is just there. I wish it was push cross. But yeah, and then I don't know what they're going to do with, I'm forgetting someone, but yeah, pretty much it's going to be Seth, I think. Oh yeah, Penta. But yeah, Penta and, like I said, Penta and El Grande are going to get into it some way, Andrade's just there to fill the numbers. But yeah, it's going to be either 1 to Seth, 2 LA Knight.
All right. Like I said, that's a good point about Raw. Like that could be a way to not have Gunther win the title, but prevent him from looking weak by having Rollins come out there and cash in, and they could do that. All right. So we'll throw it over now to Dwayne. Your thoughts. You've gotten to hear everybody's opinion now. So now you're influenced. Go ahead.
I agree wholeheartedly on somebody, 100%. My issue with this now is thinking about it. I didn't even think about this paper being in LA, or else I might would have kind of looked at the predictions a little bit differently. But I'm sticking with what I already got, and I'm agreeing with Gino. My initial pick was Seth Rollins. Number one, I feel like if he doesn't win this match, what do they do with the fact? Makes the faction go look weak, I think, personally. But also, there's also the Punk and Reigns factor as well that could probably prevent him from winning it. But I agree. I think his henchmen's going to go out there. They're going to do their job. They're going to protect Seth Rollins, and I think he's going to win this match. However, only Brink they decide to go with somebody else. My secondary pick, I think, is going to be the heat factor as well. Nobody wants to see this man do anything, but I feel like they're about to do something big with Solo Sikoa as well. They already got Jacob Fatu with the U.S. title. I think they're going to probably give the title also to Solo as well. So my secondary pick is Solo. My primary pick is Seth Rollins.
All right, there you have it. So that's interesting. Definitely some different opinions on this one. Looking forward to it, and I may change my pick after SmackDown depending on what they do, like who's standing tall on the last show. Like that could also impact my predictions for this, but we'll see what happens on SmackDown. Let's talk about the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which I personally think is the most star-studded, strongest lineup they've ever had for a women's Money in the Bank. I mean, this is a hot one. We got 6 great talents here. We got Stephanie Vakir, who's been doing great in NXT. She's now officially part of Raw. Alexa Bliss, WWE veteran. We got Roxanne Perez, who's in the storyline with Judgment Day now. We got Naomi, who's done the heel turn and changed up her character. We got Rhea Ripley, who's arguably the biggest star in the women's division. And we got Julia, who's one of the up-and-comers. People see big things for her. Lots of possibilities with this one. Like I think there could be fair arguments for any of these women to win the Money in the Bank. So let's go ahead and get everyone's thoughts on this one. Dwayne, I will go over to you first this time and let you give your predictions without any influence. Go ahead and tell us what you think.
I could be here all night telling everybody why each person in this match deserves it. But unfortunately, I have a hard time. In fact, I'm still second-guessing my choices for this one. I just don't feel Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia, they all just now getting caught up to the main roster. I don't think they're going to fast-track them that quick just yet. They're all going to be potential champions one day because we know they are. They're all going to be main eventers as well, possibly, I think, for the women's division. So it leads me to Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Rhea Ripley. I feel like if they decide to do something with Alexa Bliss, I think the White Six is going to have some sort of shenanigans in this one, try to help her win it. But, right now, I'm not sold on that one. So I'm scratching Alexa Bliss as well, which leaves Naomi and Rhea Ripley. And I'm just going to make this short and sweet. Rhea Ripley, I think, is in it for the name value and possibly just to add another accolade to what she's accomplished so far. It's hard to bet against Rhea right now because she's probably about one of the hottest females there is. Regardless of what brand she's on, she's always going to be the top person. And reading somewhere they possibly would give that to her just so they could sell Money in the Bank briefcases, replicas. I could see that happening as well. But then you got Naomi, she's freaking killing it on this heel persona. I had really doubts when they turned her heel that this is going to make it work, man. But I think she's really killing it with this new attitude, this new presentation that she's bringing. I think she's got rid of that glow gimmick and she's on to something a little different now, and it's working. And I feel like she's on fire right now. And as this saying goes, strike while the iron's hot right now. My primary pick, I think, is going to be Naomi, for the fact also being she's due for another women's title run, but it also brings a little bit more to the table with Bianca and Jade Cargill storyline with them as well. So my primary pick is going to be Naomi, and my secondary pick is going to be Rhea.
Solid picks right there. So I will go ahead and break it down and give my thoughts on each person. Alexa Bliss, she's back. I'm happy she's back, but I don't see her winning it. I think she's just there to give her a spot and give her something to do, but I don't see her winning it. I don't really think she's in their long-term plans, at least as far as being in title contention. Julia, she would be a nice candidate for it, but I feel like maybe it's a little bit too soon for her. Same thing with Stephanie just being called up, and Stephanie has that match on the Worlds Collide event, and she could always win that match, and not winning Money in the Bank, she has an excuse. She had to wrestle earlier in the day on the Worlds Collide event, and maybe she gets storyline injured or something in the Worlds Collide match, and that's an easy way for her to lose the Money in the Bank and not look weak. So I don't think it's going to be Stephanie. I could see Stephanie or Julia being a serious candidate next year, not this year. Of the newcomers, I think Roxanne is the most likely because she's got this Judgment Day storyline. If she wins, that could create more jealousy perhaps between her and Liv Morgan. Like, you can really elevate that storyline. So I think Roxanne's probably my number 2. Rhea Ripley, the problem with that is I feel like her character doesn't fit with Money in the Bank. So there's really no reason for her to win. I think it goes a lot better with somebody like Roxanne Perez than Rhea Ripley, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not going to go with Rhea. They'll probably do something to take her out of the match. They'll put her through a table or a ladder, or something crazy will happen to her. And then you got Naomi, and I think Naomi would fit really well with Money in the Bank. And she's a heel. I'm going with Naomi as my number 1. Naomi number 1. And Roxanne Perez as my number 2. So, Matthew, I will throw it over to you now and get your thoughts on this one. Lots of interesting possibilities, though. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm in agreement with a lot of it. The Mommy in the Bank, that's easy money there, but I don't think Rhea even needed to be in the match. And I don't know if the rumors are true, but I think originally Rhea wasn't even going to be in the match. I think there were rumors that Kyrie was supposed to actually win, but when Zoe got hurt, you weren't going to have Kyrie beat Rhea.
Yeah.
So they kind of were stuck in a situation. So yeah, I think Rhea can end up getting her eventual rematch with Io without being in the Money in the Bank. But again, it's hard not, she gets the biggest pop. She is money, and, you tell me they wouldn't make a fortune with Mommy in the Bank t-shirts or Mommy in the Bank briefcase. But yeah, as for Naomi, she's been killing it. And I think she's a lot of people are saying she's the odds-on favorite, and I agree with that. It's just the number 2 that for me, because I would love to see Stephanie win, because she's probably, of the 3 call-ups, she's the hottest overall crowd-wise. But like you said, she has her match. But yeah, all 6 women deserve this shot. And like you said, this is probably the most stacked women's Money in the Bank we've ever had. We have 3 vets and 3 women that are going to be carrying the company for the next 10 years. So, but yeah, I think I'm kind of in agreement with you. I think it's going to be Naomi's going to win, but Roxanne's going to be number 2. And if Roxanne does win, yeah, I think she's going to taunt Liv with it and, hang that above Liv's head and be like, I can cash on Io anytime I want now, and you can't. That makes me leader of the Judgment Day or something. But I think overall it needs to go to Naomi because I don't know who has more wins over each other, but I think it would be bigger if Naomi actually cashed in on Tiffany and won, and then maybe this leads to a three-way Naomi, Jade, and Bianca eventually. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Naomi 1 and Roxanne 2. But this is gonna be a hell of a match.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, we got 2 face champions, so it makes sense for a heel to win the Money in the Bank, especially for the women's match. Men's match, with Cena as the heel, like you could argue a face wins it. So we'll go over now to Oof. Oofman, we'll get your thoughts on this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my secondary pick is literally like an RKO out of nowhere. I'm picking Julia just because I have really no reason to defend myself. Of the 3 new girls, I just feel like she's the one less talked about in the internet and the IWC. It just seems like everyone's attention's on Roxanne because she's with the Judgment Day, and then of course everybody loves, especially Booker T, loves Stephanie. So I feel like Julia is not getting the attention there, so she's my secondary pick. As far as my primary pick, Alexa Bliss came back at the Rumble, then she showed up at the Chamber, and then gone. And then came back and then qualified for Money in the Bank. So I don't see her winning the briefcase because it was just weird for her to disappear.
Yes. Real quick, one of the reasons I'm not going with Julia is because they also teased her potentially going after Zelina Vega. They already planted the seeds for that.
True.
So, like, if she's got that going on, like, she doesn't need to be holding the Money in the Bank. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah. Like I said, she's just a backup pick. As far as Rhea goes, I agree with all you guys. However, I think Rhea, she's so popular, she's so over that I don't think she needs the Money in the Bank case. She's always going to be in the title contention, but I'm sure someone's thinking Charlotte Flair. I know, but I think Rhea, she's crazy over and she'll always be in contention. So I don't think she needs the Money in the Bank case. So that leaves only one person in the men's match. I said LA Knight needs a character change, so move him over to Raw. As far as my primary pick is Naomi. She is so on fire right now with this heel character. If you give her the briefcase, her ego is going to explode even bigger now, carrying it around. She could tease. We were talking about Jade Cargill earlier, and even Bianca. If there's backstage segments, she could just be like, "Look, kind of what I have, what you don't have." But I think it was a couple either weeks or months ago. Naomi gave an interview, or she posted it somewhere, that she was thinking of finally settling down and having kids. So this could be her final shot, where if she wins the Money in the Bank, she could cash in and then win the women's title, either or, maybe for perhaps the last time before she decides to raise a family. So because of that reason, and because she's just killing it as this heel, and she just needs that, like you said, if you give her the briefcase as a heel, it'll boost her ego, it'll boost her character more. So I think who really not necessarily needs it, but the one I think that would really get that extra oomph to get that briefcase would be Naomi. So Naomi's my number one pick, with Julia my backup.
All right, sounds good there. And now we'll throw it over to Gino. Gino, go ahead with your picks. What do you think?
I think I wish I went first because you guys are all making such good points. I've changed both names in my list here while every one of you guys was talking. Oh, I'm so stressed. Okay. You were right. Stephanie just got called up, but I think about her being given the option of whether she wanted to go to the main roster right away or NXT. But her wrestling earlier in the night, I would be picking her hands down if she wasn't wrestling earlier in the day. So she's going to have that LA Knight moment where she's going to get the briefcase and everybody's going to go hyped, and then somebody's going to push her over. Probably Naomi. It's tough. It's so tough because Naomi could have Jade interfere and cost her. So it's tough to want to pick that. You've got the Judgment Day could interfere on Roxanne. It's tough to want to pick that. Matt mentioned Rhea wasn't even supposed to be in the match. So it's like, well, they obviously weren't planning on her having it. But I think as of now, obviously we reserve the right to change that after SmackDown. But I think Rhea is going to be my number one, whether it's Mommy in the Bank or not, whether she's not supposed to be in this match or not. I think that you like, she can't get really another shot at EO. She's botched too many times. So she's not in the title hunt kayfabe wise. We know she's the most over. And I think you just give it to her and run with it. I really do. I think that that's the smart idea there. Other than that, and plus that would be my only face I have winning on this card. But my number 2 is Naomi. She's the favorite. She's been crushing it. But but they're both former world champions. I would love for it to have been Stephanie or Roxanne, and maybe it will be. It could be anybody. I love Alexa Bliss, but she just doesn't factor into all that stuff right now, especially with the Wyatt Six coming right back. Maybe she's going to have something to do with them, even though I wish she wouldn't. I'm going to pick Rhea number 1 and Naomi as my number 2.
All right, great picks, everybody. And on that note, we will go ahead and do our plugs. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Dwayne, we'll start with you. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
None at the moment. You can always find me on Facebook, Dwayne Atkinson. Other than that, you can find me on the stream as well. So great predictions, guys. Good luck on the prediction points. We'll see how the things go.
All right, and Oof, we'll throw it over to you now. I got to get a graphic for you because you've been on so much, but we never put up a graphic for you. So maybe we can get Jeff Meacham on the job for that one. So Oof, anything you would like to plug or promote?
Just my page right there, youtube.com at Oofman Entertainment. Haven't made a video in a while. I apologize. I've had a lot of extracurricular activities and I've been fighting a small cold, but I keep promising to make the next video to be an AEW State of the Union address as we head into their big show of All In. So that video will be coming in the next couple of days. But again, Aaron, thanks so much. Gentlemen, thanks again for letting me be here on the panel, and look forward to other panels as well.
All right. Hopefully you and I will get to hang out in July when I'm in New Jersey. I've already met up with Son and Steve-O. We had some Chicago deep dish. So everywhere I go, I got to make sure I get the pizza.
please do. Yeah. Let me know, man. Well, yeah. I'll hit you some local pizza joints around my house. Absolutely, bro.
All right. And I got to get to Florida too, to meet up with Gino and Matthew. We got to make that happen at some point. And Dwayne too. I know you guys are all down in that neck of the woods. I mean, Dwayne, you're in like Pensacola area. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Gainesville, Florida area.
Gainesville, Florida. How far is that?
Hey, you come to Florida, man. I'll make it happen.
Okay, because I know Matthew and Gino are a bit more south than you are. And Florida's
Tampa area, right?
Big.
Gino and Matt, like the Tampa area.
Well, I'm in Melbourne. Gino's in Tampa, so we're
So
you and me are a little closer, but we're kind of in the middle. Like I think Orlando would be the middle point for all of us.
All right, we'll
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll make it happen one day. We'll have the big no DQ meetup in Florida. But anyways, Matthew, thank you as always for being on. And again, I appreciate the love with the no DQ shirt. So anything you would like to plug or promote? We got to get some graphics for you guys. Go ahead.
I mean, not really, check out No DQ. It's always a privilege to be on. I love everything you guys do. Check out Gino's stuff too. We had a great discussion last week about our adventure to Saturday night main event, which, now knowing what we've known with R-Truth and all that, it makes it a little bit more somber, but also kind of cool that we got to see that what could be one of his last big matches in WWE till we see him again. But check out both channels, and it's always a pleasure to be on, and I'm grateful to be part of the family.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm looking at the map right now. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, Gainesville is like a little bit south of Jacksonville, and then Tampa is is southwest of Orlando, and then Melbourne is southeast of Orlando. So yeah. We'll have to do somewhere maybe in the Orlando area one of these days. All right,
Disney trip, no DQ. I don't know.
There you go. Hit up the Universal. Well, I've always wanted
Universal Studios.
I've always wanted to do like the Halloween Horror Nights stuff in October. I have to try to get my wife to.
Well, they also just opened up the new the 4 new worlds, including the Nintendo world.
Oh, we'll see. I'll have to see if I can convince her to make the trip out there and do some of the theme parks. That would be great. I've only done like Universal Hollywood once when I was there, and Epcot. I was at Epcot, so I've done 2 of them there. All right, Gino, I'll go ahead and throw it over to you now with your plug.
Yeah, well, Matthew kind of plugged it for me. I appreciate that. You can catch me on our Major Push Wrestling podcast, talk show, whatever you want to call it, Wednesdays at 8. I also saw the Ballerina yesterday. I do movie reviews posted as well, so you can check out that. It's all at Papagino0017 on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much, Aaron, and the No DQ Galaxy for having this community that we can come on here and we can talk wrestling and give predictions and meet a bunch of great people out in the real world as well. So thank you so much for that, guys.
Absolutely. All right, guys, on that note, we will sign off for tonight. I hope everybody enjoys Money in the Bank this weekend. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for live coverage of Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. I'll be recapping both shows after Money in the Bank. Check that out. And Sunday, I'll have a new wrestling's hottest, audacious takes. And then we'll have another roundtable sometime next week. Stay tuned for all that. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and we will see you all next time.